We are here with John Akers, who is the founder and CEO of Akers Technology, and a gentleman who is renowned throughout the industry as a guru. Before we get into the guru stuff, John, just give us a little update on what you've been accomplishing at Akers Technology over the past year and what lies ahead.
Well, at Akers Technology, we continue our focus on the belief that it's all about the player, not all about the game. That our industry for too long has thought about the math models and how they treat the average player, of which there's no such thing. And we forget that the real selling point occurs between the player's ears. How do we make them feel? I believe that we're selling players self-esteem, not chances to win. And the chances to win are part of it. Our whole mantra is we want to help the player remember the $100 they won and forget the $200 they spent to win.
So, and your products are designed to do that?
Yes, we are in the business of measuring player behaviors, determining when a player is under stress. By under stress, I mean that they are getting frustrated and maybe are ready to leave. And if we detect that they have not spent their affordable budget, then we will give them an incentive to continue to play. Now, as compared to the traditional free play incentives that we invented way back at Akers Gaming and that continue today, those are given to everybody regardless of your actual experience. They rank you by a spend, and then they'll send you a mailer or an email saying, Frank, if you come in today, I'll give you $50 for the free play. That has a lot of problems. It diminishes the value of the game. It creates a sense of entitlement. And today, I think most casinos are giving back between 25 and 30% of their gross gaming revenue as free play. And it's not effective. What we strive to do is to watch the player in real time as they're on the floor, determine when they're in stress, and only issue a bonus then. It makes no sense to give someone that just won a $200 jackpot a $10 bonus. It's a waste. We want to withhold that and until that player returns on another time and they're having that stress, then we can give them the $10 or maybe even $15 because we didn't give them the 10 back then. So it's picking those moments in time when that player needs an incentive. And that means that the technology that we create has to be able to measure each and every player as they play. That's a big stretch over anything we've ever done before. And it's taken a lot of years to get that technology built, debugged, and into place, but we're there now, so we are actually able to really start focusing on the uses of that data and how do we go in and please that player, give them an experience that they won't forget.
One of the buzzwords in every industry today, including gaming, is artificial intelligence. Yes. It sounds to me like that's what you are implementing.
Absolutely, but there's an interesting dichotomy with that word artificial intelligence. If you look it up in the dictionary, it says something that is done automatically that was normally perceived as being done by a human. So for example, if I turn back the clock to when I just got out of high school, they came out with the Bomar Brain, which was a 4-function calculator. And then it was amazing, right? Nobody would think about it today, but at that time that could be considered to be AI because before then people were doing a lot of their math on pieces of paper. Now we come forward and we have this generative AI and we have all these other tools that are just simply amazing in their promise, but they are nowhere close to delivering in reality. All we have to do is look at saying, after all these years, has Elon Musk finally delivered us a true self-driving car? And I'm not picking on him. It's a very hard goal, but we're not there yet. And when I go on to Google and how many times they give me things I'm not searching for, you see billions and billions of dollars, trillions of dollars being spent to help us, but they're not there yet. And we have to be very careful about the level of trust we put into something that's not proven. I'm not saying it's not going to come. It will, but it's like what the internet was. It's going to take a little bit longer than a lot of people realize. In the meantime, though, there are elements of AI that we can use and that we do use, but they don't have to be this multi-billion-dollar server room kind of a thing. They can be very small capabilities.
Does AI also carry with it risk, like regulatory risk? In other words, you talk about the ability, if you have the ability, if you know everything about your customer and you have the ability to hit his or her hot button at any time, you run the risk of crossing the line from maximizing their value to manipulating.
Absolutely. And I think that I don't look at it as carrying regulatory risk as driving regulatory reform. That all of our regulations think in terms of what the games worked like in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and even the jurisdictions that opened since then reached out to Nevada and copied them. Well, Nevada's regulations now are so stale and brittle that they're unworkable, and that is indeed a big part of why Nevada gaming revenues continue to drop in comparison to the rest of the country. We just cannot put the right things on the floor quickly because those brittle regulations. But they're afraid to change those because it's worked for so long. And we're going to have to all have this conversation about what are we really promising the player? What is fun and entertaining, and what is deceptive? I'll liken it to professional wrestling. You know, when people go to professional wrestling, they know somewhere in their head that it's a staged act. But they also know that there's tremendous athletic efforts being made. Those wrestlers can really get hurt, and there's a storyline behind it that gets people allowed on their own to fool themselves, to trick themselves into believing that's real, and to act like it is and get that emotion pumping. Now, is that deceptive? Would that be allowed in gaming? Is that okay? Are we allowing a player to fool themselves, or are we saying that no, under no circumstances can a player be misled? I don't believe that we should ever. A long time ago when I started in this business, I had lunch with Benny Binion one day. This is back in the 70s. And I asked him what gaming was, and he made the comment. He says, look, people hate to be fooled. If you fool someone, if you cheat them, if you lie to them, they will hate you forever. But people love to have a chance to fool themselves, and I give it to them.
Yeah.
And that's really what a casino is. Most players are not going to win most of the time. Right. But they can walk out feeling like a winner. If we're selling the feeling of being a winner, there's a lot more we can do. If we're just going to talk about the math, we're at our limit. We're not going to have a lot of growth.
One of the things that's taken a little bit longer to adopt is cashless gaming.
Yes.
We know you have a cashless product, and you've been very bullish on the prospects for cashless gaming. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Cashless removes friction. Does two things that I'm really excited about. One is it reduces player friction. They don't have to go get green pieces of paper to play the machines. The second thing that cashless does is it gives us full identification of the player. It gives us knowledge about who they are and what their budgets are, what they possess, so that we can create an experience that's better tuned for them. The problem with cashless is that it's a change, and our industry fears change for fear of risking the revenue they have for the revenue they ultimately want to get. And then regulation. For example, in Nevada, we still can't get cashless approved, even though it's running on 40,000 machines in 21 other states. But Nevada's regulations are so brittle that they can't do it here. So we have a combination of regulatory problems. We have casino fears, understandable. I'm not trying to criticize them, where they want to say, is this the right way to do cashless? And we're seeing so many cashless terms change in the real world as we go from Apple Pay to what's the identifier? Do you hold your phone? Do you hold your palm, your face, your fingers? What are we going to standardize on? And those are the things, that allow doubt, that keep us from moving forward. However, that said, we've deployed cashless on 38,000 or so machines with PIN entertainment, and they're doing very well with it. They're very happy with it.
Great. Talking about Acres Technology itself,
yes,
you've had a plan for a while now to become a public company.
Yes.
What is the status of that?
Waiting for the right time. So we want to be publicly traded for a couple of reasons, and there's a bunch of downsides to it, but it's easier for regulatory purposes, and it allows our people to have a chance to benefit from their work. So we're giving out stock options. Well, at some point, they got to have a market to cash those stock options in. They've done some great work. The company's grown in value. That public trade gives them an easy opportunity to make a down payment on a house or buy a car or put their kids through college or whatever it is. And for those two reasons, we really want to be public, but we also have to realize that timing is everything, that we have to have consistent earnings, which we're finally getting to, because if it's lumpy, the stock market doesn't like that. And it also tends to make you have a shorter term outlook, because you've got to think about each and every quarter. Our opportunity by staying private for a little bit longer is the ability to think about next year or even the year after that instead of next quarter. That means that we can invest in and believe in longer term projects that are going to have great impact, but that won't help you in the next quarter.
We're at G2E, where everybody displays their newest and best products. What are one or two of the must-see items in your booth?
I think you'll see different storylines for bonuses. We believe that we have to not only give players an incentive, but you have to wrap it in entertainment. You have to have anticipation. You have to have celebration, almost wins, seeing others win. And so when you come to our booth, you'll see the latest efforts there. We're now interacting with signage and things to change the environment that a player is in. If I go to a Raiders football game and I watch them dim the lights in between plays and do all these things that create a wonderful atmosphere, that's what casinos need to do too. We're way too predictable. Again, we come back to the regulatory environment. How much entertainment will the regulators believe we should be able to provide? It's an interesting thing, but that drama and entertainment is key to our future. And you'll see a lot of those first examples in our booth.
Okay. Well, John, as always, a very interesting discussion. Anything else you'd like to add?
Nope, I appreciate being here. And Frank, I respect how long you've been doing this, and it's always great to see you. I think that we've got tremendous opportunity in our industry if we're willing to change with the times.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.